Welcome to the Jeremiah Show.
Thanks for having us. It's good to be
Hey,
here.
guys. The Father Son album has everything you hope for in a recording. It's how your dreams sound. It fills your space and wraps you in musical warmth. It pumps your blood. It inspires your breath. It makes you twitch. You can't help but smile when you listen to it. Inspiring originals and beautifully reimagined classics. Father Son is the debut collaboration by legendary bassist Nathan East and his Wonder Kid 24-old pianist organist son Noah. The album captures the intimacy of the jazz duo and trio format, infused with the powerful spirit of rhythm and blues. Treat your ears to a musical feast and a thrilling experience. They recorded the album at the legendary East West Studios in Los Angeles by Grammy winning engineer and producer Mugi Canzio.
Panazia.
Canazio. I knew I was
Panazia.
gonna. I had it right the first time,
You
and
had it right.
Canazio.
Panazia.
I cut off half of your name, Mugi. I'm so sorry. Guest artists appearing with Nathan and Noah are some of their famous friends and collaborators, including Eric Clapton. Happy birthday, Eric.
Yes.
Eric Clapton, with whom Nathan has toured for over 4 decades. Famed flautist Herbert Laws and vocalist Mary Clayton and Billy Valentine. Nathan brings his signature grooves, fluid runs, and deep musicality to the album. And this is a powerful introduction to the jazz world for Noah, highlighting his soulful touch on piano and his masterful command of the Hammond B3. Together, father and son create a sound that is heartfelt and electrifying. Grammy nominated bassist Nathan East has been credited with over 2,000 recordings. Wow, congratulations. And he's recognized as one of the most recorded musicians in popular music, R&B, soul, rock, and jazz. He is the founding member of the contemporary jazz supergroup Fourplay. And he is known for his musical collaborations with artists such as Eric Clapton, B.B. King, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, Anita Baker, Quincy Jones, Beyoncé, Babyface, Elton John, and Daft Punk. Kenny Loggins says of Nathan, he never ceases to amaze me. His ability to adapt to the genre he is playing in. His son, Noah East, is an accomplished touring and session pianist and organist. And at 13, he debuted professionally as a featured keyboardist on his father's Grammy-nominated solo album. Noah recently signed to Yamaha Corporation as an artist and has performed, recorded, and collaborated with Steve Ferrone, Greg Phillinganes, Hubert Laws, Shania Twain, David Foster, Randy Brecker, Rome Ramirez, and Seiko Matsuda. And he's also a member of the Cream of Clapton Band. Wow. What esteemed guests today on the show. I'm so honored to have both of you. Before I bring you in, though, here's my recipe for having a good day. Want to hear it? Rise
Yes.
early. Brew some strong coffee. Put the album Father, Son on your record player. If you don't have a record player, get one. Play equal parts Nathan and Noah East through your speakers. Watch the sunrise and begin to boogie. Father Son is the most anticipated debut solo album, says Jazz Times. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you.
What an introduction. Thank you.
Jeremiah. It's great to be here. And I'm looking for the guys you're talking about.
Keep that up.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Yeah, I would imagine you hear all that you've done. And that's a leap. By the way, I carved that up over 3 different segments throughout the show, and it continues. Your resume is just incredible. The life that you've lived, the music that you've created, some of our favorite music for our lives, for the fabric of our lives, for all of us music lovers out there. It's just incredible what you've accomplished. And so thank you.
Oh, it feels almost surreal because I'm such a music fan myself, and every one of these people that you've named, I'm a fan of, and I've listened to, before I was his age, so it's to have friends and for it all to be coming together like this, it's still very surreal to me. And I'm every day I wake up in appreciation and with endless gratitude.
It's a good life, isn't it? If you choose to make it a good life.
Yeah, it's a great life. I'm very grateful.
Well, my first question for you guys is a really tough one. I mean, I hope it's not too tough for you. Are you guys having fun?
Man, you can't have any more fun. We're just in Germany. We played at a wonderful city called Baden-Baden. There's a place called Mr. M's Jazz Club. We've been doing it every year now, and they've asked us to come back for a 3rd year next year. And it's a gathering of musicians, like a festival, 3 days. Randy Brecker came last year. This year, Eric Marienthal came along, and lots of musicians from all over the world gather on stage, and we just have a good time and play, maybe 2-3 hour shows a night of all of our favorite tunes, and it's just so much fun. And prior to that, Noah and I just did our very first father-son duo only concert in Augsburg, Germany, at this beautiful venue. It looked like a combination of a church and Carnegie Hall inside. It was beautiful, and it was just magical, and we're having the time of our lives.
Is it hard sometimes when you're in that groove, and when you're in the zone like that, and it's just, and the crowd is giving it back to you, and is it hard to stop playing sometimes?
It makes you just want to keep going. That's for sure. And it's, I don't know, we were having fun with the songs, because when you get to play them just as duo, there's nobody to hide behind, and everything. Thank God he's young, because he gets to do a lot of heavy lifting. But it's really a lot of fun, and the music can just take on a life of its own, and there's nobody really putting any blocks or anything. So it really gives it a chance to develop and grow into something very special.
Does that energy that you spoke of, that Noah has, being young, and probably, I mean, you've been out there since 13, so you're a veteran as well, Noah, but a lot of it's probably for the first time, right? I mean, every time you go on stage, it's almost a new experience, I would imagine. Does Noah's energy and that just awe, that wonderment for making music with his dad, does that give you energy, Nathan? Does it inspire you?
Absolutely. I mean, especially at a time, I mean, I've been down these roads now for a while, but to see them through his eyes and to experience this, it's brand new for me. So even at this stage in the game, to have something absolutely brand new that you've never done before, and for it to be a celebration of music with somebody who has the same blood running through their veins, it's just very
special.
very special. Yeah.
Very special. I hadn't really thought about this, but you guys joined an illustrious group of famous musician fathers and sons. I hadn't really like who are those fathers sons that have collaborated together musically? You've got Ringo and Jake Starkey,
Right.
Bob and Jacob Dylan,
Right.
Joshua and Dewey Redman, the Marsalis family, Bob and Ziggy Marley, and the list goes on. What has your father and son musical experience been like for you personally? Start from the beginning and describe it for me.
Well, I mean, it was one of those things, and on this piano right here, where he had lessons, and he was part of a LA based place called Piano Play Music Systems, where he was taking lessons. And when he came home with one of his first, what was it? Was it yesterday?
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah,
First.
he came home with a chart called Yesterday, and the arrangement was so beautiful. And I was doing my first album at the time. He was 13 years old, and Chris Giro, our producer of my album, he heard the song and he said, "Man, we should include that on the album." So it's okay. And he came in for the first time, put headphones on in the studio, and it was like he was in there in awe of what he was hearing. And we recorded the song, and it was just a very special moment. Chris suggested he say, "Are you ready, Dad?" and it was ready, son. So his
Oh, is
voice,
that the opening for the album?
and that was what we opened
Did you guys?
the song with, and we opened our album with the same thing this
I
time.
love that father son. It's the opening, I guess, track. And
Yeah.
in fact, I put it in on this show as our opener as well.
Hey,
I loved it.
perfect.
Are you ready, Dad?
Yeah. So that's become a tradition. We say it before we start the gigs, and it couldn't feel better.
Noah, what did you give me your perspective at sitting down at that bench in that studio, recording studio for the first time and playing and put it on the headphones? What was that like for you?
Just absolutely beyond anything I could have imagined. It was captured on video and it's somewhere on YouTube, but I mean, like literally, I just hit the key and I couldn't even believe it. And that's when I knew, okay, I got to figure out how I could do this for
Yeah, I
the
was
rest.
gonna say, was that the next thought is like this is what I'm gonna do.
Yep, I said, okay, I think I can do this for the rest of my life, and it's been a blessing. Over a decade later, and it's a full circle that we have an album, and we've been playing in this living room, for a long time until the sun would come up some nights, and it was always just laughs and fun. So to be able to put this out in the world and now do it in front of an audience and do it for people is nothing like it.
And to spend that time together has got to be so special. It's just not something that everyone gets together with their father that time and vice versa. I mean, it just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy thinking about that. That
Yeah, no,
you
it's
guys
same
are.
here. It's a yummy situation, and the pandemic really added to the amount of time that we could spend together, because we were on lockdown right here in this space. So hey, let's just play. So that's
I
what we
love
ended
it.
up doing.
So the sun comes up.
The sun
Uh,
comes up.
Noah, what lesson will you forever cherish from working with your dad as you have?
That's a great question. I would say how you treat people is very important. I've seen him and you could be like the baddest musician in the room, but if you don't know how to treat people right, then you're not going to get called back. And so he's trying to instill that in me. And every relationship, doesn't matter who the person is important. And so
Yeah,
I think just the people aspect of the whole thing is one of the biggest lessons I've learned.
that's a great lesson. Nathan, where did you learn that lesson?
Well, I've studied people all my life, and it starts with your parents, which they're ultimately are the best teachers we have. And so my mother and father really instilled a lot in us. We had 7 kids, so we had to toe the line. But then having the opportunity to work with great producers like Quincy Jones and even, people like Clapton and Phil Collins, you see how they treat people, and you see how that becomes one of the most important parts of their communicative skills, and just it's a big thing, and it doesn't matter, what Quincy used to always say, hey, this isn't a cure for cancer. We're playing music, so. But you go in the room with him, and the rule is we don't want any divas in here, the famous saying, check your ego at the door, and so you really learn a lot about humility, and just I've been out to dinner with Phil Collins, and somebody came up and asked him for his autograph, and he said, thanks for asking. I'm going, and I've seen the opposite. No, don't you see I'm eating?
Yeah, get away from me.
But
no, but that's a great answer, and that's a great lesson, right?
Yeah, and he said it to like a 9-year-old girl who I'm sure for the rest of her life, she's going to have the benefit of knowing that, one of her heroes was really nice to her. They say don't meet your heroes, right? But so when you're there, and I'm thinking, wait, this guy has more #1 records than anybody, and he's thanking somebody for asking him for his autograph. I just said, you know what? That's a check, another lesson.
Yeah, another reason, and another reason he's there, and talent, of course, incredible talent, but when you have that, some people can go the wrong way, and he treated that person special, and you're right, they'll remember that the rest of their life. And what a great lesson that you've taught Noah as well, that he picked up from you, Nathan. What a great lesson for life and every day, whether or not someone wants an autograph, or you're just picking up a cup of coffee from someone over a counter. Be kind,
Absolutely.
I don't know, treat each other well. We could all use so much more of that. And then back to treating everybody well in the industry. Haven't you found that overall, it's really sort of a small industry? It's like I always think of it like a high school in a way, and because a lot of music professionals come on, and artists come on the show, you start to see the same people, or they're all working together, and you realize it's a small community. So be nice to people all the way through, because you're probably going to see each other again.
No, it is. It's a sisterhood and a brotherhood, and it's a fun club, and but you're right, it's relatively small. Everybody knows everybody, and the the secretary at the front desk is one day is the CEO of of the company.
Yeah, it'd be.
And it's just nice to know, you were always cool all the way up and down the line. And I really love that about the business, and just about people in general. I study people, and it's just so much fun, and it's always great to see when people are treated properly and with respect.
Well, this isn't about me, but I do have to tell a real quick Mick Fleetwood story, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Speaking to this, like your Phil Collins story. First time I met Mick, and we flew out to Maui. I stayed at his farm up on Maui, on the volcano. And at the end of the night, he and I were the last ones left. Everybody went to bed. It's like 2 a.m. We were having some wine, and he says, "Well, I'm going to take you up to your where I was staying was a cabin." And we had to get in his truck. He drives me up just a few, on his ranch, a couple blocks away on the farm. And he gets out and he shows me how to use the TV remote. And then he's showing me how to turn on the hot water so I don't burn myself. And I'm thinking, this is Mick Fleetwood, who I've known through his music all his life, one of the biggest rock stars in the world. And he's showing me how to turn on the water so I don't get scalded. And I just thought, what a cool guy, I mean, anyway, I like those. I like to hear that, Phil Collins. Sorry. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Those are all fun stories.
Well, Nathan, let's do the same question to you. What lesson or memory are you going to cherish, your whole life, for working with your son, Noah?
Well, just the fact that he just seems to be such a great student of not only the piano but of life, and we have such a great time on and off the stage together. His gift is really something very special. I mean, I discovered he had perfect pitch when he was about 5 years old, and I would play a note on the bass, play the same note Daddy plays, and I'd play a D, and he'd just play a D, and he no fumbling for it, and then started playing but it did it, and he'd play but it did it, and I'm going, wait a second, So his ears are just tremendous. So now, we never have to figure out, say what key we're playing and we just start playing, So it's a blessing. And then just it's nice to again just share the same blood with a lovely human being, We have a great time on and off the stage together.
Now, where does that gift come from? Do you know? You have any idea how you had that perfect pitch? And it's in your blood, obviously, but
yeah, it's in the blood. But of course, growing up around so much great music, and just of course the piano's always been in the house, and hearing all the people that he's played for, and him taking me out on his tours, and just sitting in and absorbing all that, I think that definitely contribute to my musical love and wanting to learn about that. So I'm very blessed to have been brought up in such a rich musical environment.
Noah, did you learn or come to admire anything about your father that by touring together, by creating this album together and this music, did you come to realize something about him that you didn't know before or hadn't appreciated?
Yeah, I would say just having an appreciation, because of course this is the first time we've really got to extensively play together. So all I've heard was stories about him with other people over the years, and whether it's how great of a musician he was, or how he brought life to the music, or brought energy to on the stage or whatnot. So being able to witness that firsthand and see what they're talking about, is like, okay, and now I see why he's been doing it for so long, and that everybody loves him. So it's been great to see that firsthand.
I used to bring Noah around to the studio, and we'd be playing a song, and I'd come back in, and he had written the chart for the song. It's back there on the couch writing out the chart.
God, good thing he's on your side, huh?
Exactly.
Good thing he's in your band.
I mean, I'm lucky he lets me play with him.
Oh,
yeah. I love that. So Nathan, did you see, as you guys were recording, as you created this album, did you see yourself and your son at any time during the collaboration? Did you see you younger,
I
things
have
that
to
you've
say,
done?
I actually do see I see the same kind of energy and ambition and just in awness of being able to do this and get to when we're in the studio. I mean, that's like one of the most sacred places that you can be, and there has to be just a lot of spirit and magic for it to come off in a way that is so pleasing, and I have to say, every day that we were in the studio, I felt that spirit, and it was just one of those things that we were just really great to capture that and get it recorded. And our engineer Moogie, it felt the same way. He says, "Man, I've been doing this a while, but you don't usually see this kind of flow and spirit in the studio." So he was capturing, takes. I think the song yesterday when we recorded it was take 0. Like before we were just running it, and he hit record and then captured just a lot of magic there.
That's it. That's great. Did you guys grow personally over the
I, I would say
collaboration?
so. There's a lot of you know relationships that take place, and so again, it all starts musically, but then sometimes it's just then we'll go out and have dinner, and next thing you know, and when I look back and hear the music, I can hear kind of where we were, and now that we've played the songs through a couple times and played them live now, and I can hear we've added bars and changed a couple things, And so you hear the music growing. Miles Davis used to play a song for a year before he'd record it, and then everybody would just add bits and pieces that once it was recorded. And so that's what we've been doing. We've just been watching the music grow.
As both of you respected music artists, what do you add together? What did the two of you bring together musically that you appreciate, that you go, wow, that's something new. That's sparking, we do that well together. What is that?
Well, I would say we're both like, nobody's trying to push a certain agenda. Nobody's trying to say, I want to play this. Like, we're always listening to each other and giving each other space. And so it's not about what we want to bring. And so I think just being able to collaborate with each other and the humility aspect of it, I think that's what brings a lot of great things to the music. We're always open and feeding off of each other, and just it's like a conversation basically. And so I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah, we leave space. And one of the things I appreciate most about Noah's musicality is his respect for space. We live in an age where Instagram, you're flipping and as fast as you can get the fingers moving, and they say, wow, and it's very impressive. But I'm amazed that Noah has sort of taken the opposite approach, and he really gives the music a lot of space, and then chooses chords with the very rare voicings, and it's fun to hear that in a young musician, because there is when I was his age, I wanted to show everybody my job and everything else, and it's fun. It's
maturity, right? And patience.
But yeah, the patience and letting the music play you, letting the conversation, dictate where it's going to go by listening and allowing and responding to each other. And that's the thing I'm really thrilled about. The more we play together too, the more I realize that, what I'm thinking, he ends up playing. It's very magical.
That is magical, and that's a real maturity as a musician, isn't it? As an artist, that you allow that space, and you take that time to let the song speak and come to life.
Right.
It probably takes
a little guy jumper.
you got a co-host.
Yeah, he's barking something.
We'll take a break right here. But before we go to break, Nathan, how much does music still teach you about life? How much are you still learning about life through your music and through your musical journey?
On a daily basis. I mean, I like listening to a lot of music, and we say hi to Jumper.
Hey, Jumper.
Hi. Yeah.
Jumper jumped right in.
Yeah. And you know what? Every day I listen to music, and everybody has their own way of saying, what their life is about through their music. So you get a new perspective on a daily basis, whether it's in the lyrics or it's whether they're a choice of chords. And so again, even today I was listening to something, and I thought, okay, that's a wonderful approach to life.
Sounds like Utopia. Or sounds like Utopia Noah. This is a song.
Nice little segue.
We're going to play that going to break here, guys. Do you want to say anything about it? Point out what you pointed out to me, Nathan, about the wording.
Yes. Well, when I heard the song, the word utopia came to mind when I heard Noah playing this and writing it. And then I thought, okay, utopia and Noah, so I put those two words together, and I didn't realize that in the middle, the combination is piano. So it's kind of magical, and we love the song.
The bridge between the two. I love it. Well, here it is. We'll be right back. Special guest today, Nathan and Noah East. Father, Son is the new album. It's out on April 18th, and you can pre-save it now on Spotify. So go to Spotify and save that and pre-save that. Can't wait till it's out. You I can't wait till it's out, but God, I hate to do this, but I already have it. Lucky me, I get to listen to it at a time. You get to listen to I believe there's 12 songs on the album. 7 out of the 12 we're playing during this interview with Nathan and Noah East. And at the end, we're going to play in its entirety Reminisce featuring Jack Lee. So hang out for that. You're also going to hear good portions of 6 other songs throughout the interview. And as I said, here's Utopia Noah. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.